Hi, this is Vic, and I've got an update on my 2014 Cadillac ELR. It's very good news. My lifetime average is now up to 81.6 MPG. That's my lifetime since I've owned the car. It's now 81.6. And you see the 111 MPG? That is my overall average for the last 79.7 miles that I drove the car. I averaged 111 miles per gallon for the last 79.7 miles. Now, you see the car ran mostly using electricity that was stored in the power supply. That is represented by the green portion of the circle. And for the remainder of the 79 miles, the blue portion of the circle represents the amount of time that I used the generator or the gas engine. The gasoline engine is a generator. And because it's a generator, it runs at one speed. That speed is 1800 RPM, independent of the speed of the car, because the car is driven by electric motors. Okay, but getting back to my lifetime MPG, it is now up to 81.6. And like I already said, for the last trip driving session that I had, I drove a total of 79.7 miles, and 54.1 miles was on electricity that was stored in the power supply. Now, how is that, you may ask, when in fact you can run the car on electricity from the power supply for only 40 miles? How did I get 54.1 miles? Okay, that is since the last time the car was fully charged. I drove a total of 79.7 miles since the car was fully charged, but partway through that 79.7 miles, there was a time where I stopped off to visit someone, and I just went ahead and plugged the car into it. There was an electrical outlet, so I plugged the car into it. No, it did not fully charge the car. It did not fully charge the car, but my policy is do not pass up a charge, whether I have time to charge it up completely or not. That's like a gasoline engine passing up a half a pint of gas. It all adds up. 20 minutes worth of charge, 30 minutes worth of charge, or an hour's worth. It all adds up. And this is the result of that. For 79.7 miles, I was able to drive the car for 54.1 miles using electricity that was stored in the power supply. And for 25.5 miles, I drove the car using electricity that was generated from the gasoline engine or the generator. And another thing that greatly affects the average MPG of the car is anytime I use the generator, I turn it on in I turn it on the mode to extend the range of the car. In other words, what that does is, well, it's called mountain mode is what it is. It's called. And what mountain mode does with the ELR is it does two things simultaneously. First of all, it allows me to continue driving. I don't have to stop driving. It allows me to continue driving. And at the same time, while I'm driving, it adds to the charge of the power supply. So I'm using the gasoline engine or the generator to drive the car, and at the same time, the generator or gasoline engine is adding electricity to the charge of the power supply, or it's what can be called extended range mode. So that once I'm satisfied with the charge of the power supply, I can then go ahead and turn off the generator and run strictly on electricity that's in the power supply again. That greatly contributes to easily giving over 100 miles per gallon average.